Strategies expressed on WLAF TV 12 do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, ownership, or advertisers of WLAF TV 12, 1450 WLAF Radio, FM 100.9, or 1450WLAF.com.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Welcome to RaisX.
RaisX has a friendly service with a family environment with that country kick. It's a family owned with delicious food, offering breakfast, lunch, supper all day long, and great steaks, wonderful salmon. Also, for that sweet tooth, pies and much more. For the kids, games, daily specials, dine in or carry out. Call 423-569-3354. Call RaisX today.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Linda Kilgore, State Farm.
State Farm agent Linda Kilgore is driven to save you money on your home, auto, and life insurance.
Hi, my name is Linda Kilgore. I'm a State Farm agent in Jacksboro, Tennessee. I have 32 years insurance experience. I have been here in Campbell County for about 21 years. We offer auto, homeowners, life, health, banking, and mutual funds. Come by and let us give you a quote. Doesn't cost you anything. We can answer all your questions and choose the coverage that's right for you.
Or see State Farm agent Ann Gwen Love.
If you need rental insurance, stop by and see me at Linda Kilgore State Farm.
For all your insurance needs, see State Farm agent Linda Kilgore in Jacksboro across from Walmart, 423-566-5000, 566-5000.
Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Campbell County Issues. Tonight's show is also being brought to you by Brimstone Recreation. Folks, I got some news for you, and I hope it, especially you folks that goes to Brimstone for Labor Day weekend. This year, they will not have a concert on Labor Day weekend. It will be done on the 18th and 19th of September, and they have Jake Owens and at Old Dominion. They've just got a big lineup for the 18th and 19th. Plus, they're giving away over $200,000 worth of prizes. It's the Razor event, Camp Razor, and that's Friday night and Saturday night. So if you buy a ticket, you got a chance to win one of many ATVs that they'll be giving away. So, and other prizes. For all you folks that's over there last year, you just know it. But there will not be a concert at Brimstone. Now, there will be one at Trails End, but not Brimstone, I think. I'm not sure. Excuse me. And also, 4th of July at Huntsville. Folks, if you've never been to the celebration of the 4th of July at Huntsville, Tennessee, you've missed something. I know last week you guys had a street party, and a lot of people come back. And those things are good for your community. I know that it's a little inconvenient, but they are a little inconvenient to some people. But let me tell you, we like the Brimstone thing. We get thousands and thousands of people to come into Scott County, and we started that in 2008. And I am proud to say that I played a part in getting that done, a big part. And some of the, I guess, more affluent people in our county complained heavily of having to increase their time to come through Huntsville up to 5 to 7 minutes longer. You know, they're used to just getting in their car and going, and nothing impedes them whatsoever. And they started a campaign to stop four-wheeling in Scott County. Well, we keep working on it, but 2 times a year, you can ride from in the city limits of Huntsville or on Highway 63 from 456 all the way to 27. You can ride your four-wheeler down through the town of Huntsville, 4-lane road. Part of it's 5-lane, and never had not one incident this year. So that was a big deal for us in May. So it's going to be a big deal again on September 18th and 19th. And then, as I started to say about Huntsville, the 4th of July, Fireman's Fourth, they call it. And that's the way they have been able to really fund a fire department in Huntsville. Most of that money comes from the event that they put on. And I'm telling you, there's times that I'm going to say, never less than 4,000 or 5,000 people on the mall at any one time. Sometimes I'd say as much as 10,000. Because there's people everywhere and parked a mile away, come into the event for the fireworks. They have one of the best fireworks going in anywhere, any small town. There's not a small town I can think of anywhere that has the kind of fireworks that they have. So everybody is invited to come into Huntsville and enjoy yourself. And at about 11 o'clock, they actually shut down Highway 63 for, I'd say, an hour. And now there is a way around if you know what you're doing. If you're coming or going, and you have to go through Oneida and go into the back way. So local people know how to do that. So, but they shut down the highway for the parade. They parade just like your Christmas parade here, I guess. It shuts down, and sometimes there's high as 100 vehicles, counting ATVs and well, and then livestock too, horses, tractors, you name it, cars, trucks, and they bring out all those. It's got a lot of, I guess, sentimental value to them, and they'll show it off. And so you can just come on over, and you can call 223-7404. 223-7404 to get information on the 4th of July, and the mayor will get you in touch with the right people, because they promote this thing heavily, and also the Brimstone is promoted extremely heavy. So and also bringing you tonight's show is Ron's Golf Carts and Indoor Flea Market. Now, Ron, also, if let's just say that you got family and friends coming in from out of town, and you live down in a subdivision or something other, and somebody's going from here to here to there to there. Now, he rents golf carts too, folks, and he sells golf carts, and like I say, he rents golf carts. So you can go by there and check it out, and tell Ron that RL sent you, and he's behind Long John Silver's. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight is the conflict of interest. I've seen in the paper where Mr. Jennings challenged one of the commissioners on their vote about sustaining, and still not sustaining, but actually a conflict of interest, but was allowed to vote. Now, in my way of looking, and I read what Mr. Coker had written and what have you, and then unless I'm bad mistaken, your county commission can set that requirement whether you can or can't vote on those things. But a better way of dealing with that, folks, is when you go out and vote, if someone actually works for the county, because he says, if you're not voting on what exactly affects your pay, then it's not a conflict of interest, or you can vote. Well, let me just say this. I want somebody call me and tell me what is the responsibility, or why does, let me put this in the right way. What is the responsibility of the county commission, not the county committer, not the county commissioner, but the county commission, the whole ball of wax? What is their responsibility? Somebody call me and tell me what you think the county commission's responsibility is. Because I gotta disagree with Mr. Coker as far as that it's all right. It might be all right under the law of the state, but under the law of the county, they can change that law for themselves. It's not a mandate, I don't believe. If it is, I would like to know. I'd be surprised if it is a mandate. So I really believe that that there's a way around not allowing a vote. You're on the air.
Hey, big guy.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much. Hey, I have a very strong opinion about this. Now, did you stop by the county commission tonight?
No, I didn't. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was here in town, had plenty of time. I just forgot about it.
Well, my understanding is hopefully we'll get a call from Jerry Chadwell or somebody here in a little bit, Jim Slusher was supposed to challenge 7 people on that commission tonight if they voted on taxes or the budget. Because there's 7 people down there that are employed by the county, and their vote would affect their potential income.
Uh-huh.
And Jim Slusher says he's going to take it to court. Now, there's a couple of things here. I looked up some of this. There's a law out there about direct and indirect conflict of interest.
Uh-huh.
Now, direct means like you're Mr. Kohlmeyer, you're director of the senior center, which is funded by county money, and you're voting on an appropriation for the senior center. And the budget has an appropriation for the senior center. That's a direct conflict.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you are a, let's say a school teacher, or let's say, and you're voting on the budget, and the school district has already turned over its budget to the county commission for approval, that would be more like an indirect conflict. Now, they claim there's a law out there in Tennessee Code Annotated that says that a county commissioner can read a statement, and it gives a statement you're supposed to say word for word about you're voting your conscience, and you're voting the way you feel your constituents want you to vote, and therefore you are going to cast your vote anyway. And they're supposedly, if they read that, they're supposed to be able to be allowed to vote. But Jim Slusher and Jerry Chadwell, they say that we come under the 1981 finance law, that Campbell County adopted the 1981 financial management law that was passed in Nashville. We adopted that as our format. Now, in that 1981 finance rule, there's a thing called the strict rule on conflict of interest. No direct, no indirect. It's called the strict rule that if there is any connection whatsoever between a county commissioner and his pay being part of what he's voting on, he cannot vote on it. Now, Coker interprets everything in favor of those voting for bigger government. So does Jeff Marlowe. You know, they're both interested in getting as much money and spending as much money as they possibly can. And I have a problem with that because the state constitution, Article 2, clearly states there's 3 branches of government. In Article 2, Section 1, 3 branches, legislative, executive, and judicial. Section 2 of Article 2 clearly states that one shall not perform the duties of the other. So therefore, Coker and Marlowe, being part of the executive branch, they have no business sitting inside that circle and discussing or even expressing their opinion on legislative issues in this county. It's illegal for them to be there expressing their opinion.
Let me say this.
Constitutional.
Let me just say this. How many times does that county commission sit and look for Marlowe and get their signal of how they should vote?
Marlowe runs that county commission. Marlowe tells them how to vote.
Absolutely.
He tells them the tax increases. Now, did you know that we are more in debt than Knox County?
I don't doubt it a bit.
We have more deaths in Knox County, and it's all due to Jeff Marlowe. And now we are fixing to have,
Wait, I'm going to disagree with you there.
we are fixing to have the highest property taxes in East Tennessee. Did you know that? If they pass the tax increases that Marlowe's telling them they have to pass, we will have the highest tax rates, higher than Anderson, Knox, Scott, Claiborne, Hancock, Union, Fentress, Pickett. We will have the highest tax rates, property tax rates in East Tennessee, maybe in the most of the state.
Yeah.
And it's all on account of Jeff Marlowe. He leads these guys.
Well, no, it's not. I disagree with you.
Now, why do you disagree?
I disagree for one reason. It's the county commission is supposed to know what they're doing, and they're not supposed to be taking directions or doing everything from the command of a finance director.
I agree on that.
The finance director, the only thing that the finance director is to do is to make sure that everybody knows what the budget is. This is what you spent. This is what they keep a ledger and supposed to have debits and credits. They're not supposed to be telling the governing body what to do. The governing body is supposed to be telling him what to do.
Now, I know you weren't present, but I was. If Marlowe had already permitted Malico to start installing solar panels on the school.
I know that.
Had not funded it.
Jerry was keeping me up to date on that.
When the county commission voted on it, it failed by one vote. Marlowe ran up to William Beard and said, "We got to have a recess."
Right.
So William Beard called a recess. Now, who's running the county commission? Jeff Marlowe. So they went out in the hall and they twisted that guy's arm, and he come back in. They called it back in session, re-voted, and it passed by one vote because that one guy, they cornered him in the lobby and convinced him to change his vote. And thank God he was beaten the next election. But you know, you take Taxman Kitts and a lot of these other Marie Ayers and Ori. They're spending like drunken sailors down there. They do everything Marlowe tells them to do. And they vote the way Marlowe tells them to do. It's absolutely...
Well, the majority votes the way Marlowe tells them.
I hope Jim Slusher woke them up tonight, and I hope if he has to take it to court, I hope it goes to court. Because they're violating the Constitution of the state of Tennessee. They're violating Tennessee Code Annotated and several other things. But anyway.
Now, why would he have to do that? And spend his own money to do that? See, the people won't get behind those kind of efforts, and they just fall short.
Well, I'm just praying that something can be done to get our county commissioners.
Well, now this litigation tax.
Do what is uphold the oath of their office and do what they're supposed to do. Coker and Marlowe, they can go sit in the pews like any other observer. But for them to sit up there, you know, Coker tries to couch everything he says inside a so-called legal opinion, but you can tell, just like on that convention center they were going to build on the cliff down there, North Lake. Coker expressed what he said was a legal opinion, but it was an illegal opinion that backed William Beard and them that this would not be it would not be added to our property taxes. The county property owners would not be responsible. So basically, he tried to couch that inside a legal opinion, but he was debating in favor of it.
Well, not only that, hey, wait a minute. He was the front man on selling the idea.
Oh, yes, he was.
But now,
he is not an elected member of the county commission. He has no right to sit in there and express a legal opinion one way or the other.
Well, they at least they've got to have have a counseling because they.
No. You are wrong. There is no legal standing for them to have a legal counsel. Now, the county mayor, according to Tennessee Code Annotated, he can employ a legal counsel to help him with his job, but the legislative branch does not have to have legal counsel present. If they have a question, they can send a letter to the state attorney general, and thank God on that convention center somebody did contact the state's attorney general. He come back and said Coker and William all and David Young and all of them were lying to the people. That $20 million would not go on our property, and they were toward our county debt. It would not be part of the county debt or go. Our property would.
Basically they're just saying that the county commission or this county would not be held accountable if it went under, and that is not true.
Well, that's your property taxes. That's the county. Your property stands behind this county debt.
And
we owe more property. We owe more debt than Knox County or Anderson County. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, you told me that earlier. But now here's the thing about it is, I know for the last 5 or 6 years, every year they say, we're going to have to raise taxes. We're going to have to raise taxes. But when it comes right down to the last minute on usually in September or October, because they never finish it, the 30th day of June is whenever it's supposed to be a drop dead tax rate supposed to be set, and you're supposed to send that into your state. But every year, they get an extension, and then just before it has to be done, they find some way to come up with the money to actually give away more money and not raise taxes.
Did you know that if we reduced our finance office to the size of Knox County or Blount counties or Hamlin counties, we could balance our budget for the next decade? Now, why won't they act on that? Why don't those gutless, spineless county commissioners act on that?
I think you get a little carried away sometimes, my friend.
No, look, they're whining around down there that they don't have the money. It's because we don't have a money problem in this county. We have a management problem. We have a leadership problem. We are not cutting overhead. You know, E.L. Morton ran on the fact that William Beard was spending too much money. Did you know E.L. Morton now has more employees in his office than William Beard had?
I heard that.
It never stops.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what does it take, a 2x4 up the side of the head? These people have learned to steal legally.
Well,
and they're getting away with it.
Yeah. Appreciate your call.
Hey, thank you for taking my call and giving me time to express my views.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Welcome to RaisX.
RaisX has a friendly service with a family environment with that country kick. It's a family owned with delicious food, offering breakfast, lunch, supper all day long, and great steaks, wonderful salmon. Also, for that sweet tooth, pies and much more. For the kids, games, daily specials, dine in or carry out. Call 423-569-3354. Call RaisX today.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Hi, I'm Linda Kilgore. This is my 35th year with State Farm, my 25th year here in Campbell County. I'm not a high-pressure salesman. I like to just sit down with my customers and help them decide what's right for them. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
A Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT. The Mule Pro FXT is engineered to smooth out the most rugged terrain. Over 8.5 inches of suspension travel make uneven surfaces feel a lot less jarring, while a tight 16-foot turning radius combined with electric power steering means easy and effortless cornering on a dime. Engine braking is tuned for a controlled feel when heading downhill, and high output LED headlights light up the way. Round out this exceptional package with the maximum stopping power of front and rear disc brakes, and there's almost nothing the Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT.
I got you an update here on the county commission meeting tonight. They did not pass a budget tonight. And also the Friends of the Animals, they did turn it over, and we've been saying that for quite a while. It should never have been try to be run by the county. So, and I don't know exactly what that contract will say. And Mr. Slusher did challenge 7 commissioners on their right to actually vote. And I was going to say there a while ago and ask someone to tell me what is the responsibility of the county commission. What is their job? And their job boils down to just basically one thing. Now they take up this and they take up that, and who's going to be Northern Republic or whatever, those kind of things, which is not a big deal. Hold on a minute here. 6, 4. You're on the air.
You are correct. Their job is to do one thing, and that is to piss you and I. So that you have hit the nail on the head tonight. So, Mr. Gibson, you are 100% correct with your answer. So you got that one right, and I'm sure Hazel Valley will agree with me, and Mr. Henson and Hester. So Walter done told you. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Listen,
so, I want to hear you get it going, brother.
I hear. I got someone that wants your telephone number. Can I give it to them?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Thank you. And now call me back somewhere. I like to argue with you.
I will. I'll holler back in.
Okay.
See.
You're on the air.
Hello, Oriole.
Hey, hi.
I believe the commission's supposed to run the business of Campbell County.
They're the ones that spend your money, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
That's their only main goal is to manage the expenses of this county. They are the ones to decide how to appropriate the monies. And there's only two ways to increase the revenue going into your county. There's a lot of ways to reduce it, but to increase your revenue intake is you've got to broaden your tax base. That's having street parties, whatever, or that's having riders and just any kind of business. Pull in business and broaden your tax base. And that's how you reduce, should be able to reduce your taxes. Or you've got to raise taxes. Now, Scott County is having the same problem. Now, they come out and said, we got to have a 24-cent increase. And some people are thinking, oh, that's 24%. No, it's not 24%. Let's just say that Campbell County come out and said they've got to have, and I think that they're about the same of what they're saying, but Scott County's tax rate right now is 229.4. Well, if they increase their budget by 24 cents, we make it $2.53.4. That's 8.5%. 8.5% increase to the tax rate, not to out here to the property this and the property. It's to your tax rate. So your property might be worth $100,000. So if it's $100,000, you're at 253. I would have $2,553 of taxes on $100,000. That's the dollars that's on that. Well, that's the same way here in Campbell County. But here's the thing, how they get by with not giving you physical dollars that you can look at and understand more, they will increase your property values. So instead of getting $2,500 for a $100,000 property, they make and keep that rate at $2, and they increase that property value to $120,000, so they end up getting the same amount or more money. And they think we're all stupid enough to fall for that stuff.
Hey, RL, I have to agree with Hazel Valley on that, about Jeff Marlowe running the commission, because they're terrified of him. Whatever he says, they go along with.
No question about it. I've watched it for 13 years.
I've been at county commission meetings, and whatever he says, they do.
Well, they'll actually, what they will do, they'll actually say, what's your view on this, Mr. Marlowe? They'll actually turn to him and ask for directions on how they should vote.
Yeah, I don't understand that, why they're so scared of him. Why don't they stand up against him?
Well, they're not. I don't think they're afraid of him. I really don't. I think what it is they truly don't know. We elect people that truly don't understand budgets. Or we have people that, let's just say, you got 7 people that works for the county. I believe 6 of them is school teachers. They're smart enough to know, but they vote to spend money because, hey, they get paid by the government, and if they don't increase their rate and something, they never get pay increases. And I think
that's the truth.
And it's wrong for your county employees. Is just like other than the ones that's in a mandated position, they have to eat just like all of us, and they can't work for 6 years for the same amount of money. They can't do it. I mean, their standard of living just keeps going down and down and down because they can't buy, instead of buying let's just say fish, which is a good staple. Some people love fish. I don't, but it's $5-6 a pound. But instead of buying fish on Friday, they got to eat bologna or hot dogs or whatever because their pay rates never go. So the quality of food and stuff that they eat, or the quality of car, instead of driving a Buick, they've got to drive a Yugo. And that's not right. And so I really believe that every year, you should have, if you can't broaden your tax base, you should be out there working, trying to broaden your tax base. And that's the reason why I think the government that we have set up in these rural counties, where they just, you have to have 9 commissioners or no more than 25. But how could Campbell County afford 9 full-time paid commissioners even at $50,000 a year, paying them a good salary, and they're out here and they have to spend money going out here and promoting jobs? I bet you that there's jobs that's in this county right now that there's never been a commissioner step a foot inside of the building. Never stepped a foot inside the building and say, oh, how can we help you in any way? Now, what do we need to do that would make it a life better for you? We want to keep you as an employer because you definitely contribute to the well-being of our county. They don't. They just a lot of them I know in Scott County. I'm not 100% positive here, but I bet $100 to a donut that you have people down there they're down there for one reason, to get that $400 or $500 check that they get, whatever that is, maybe $600, plus their insurance paid.
That's about it. Hey, Ariel, how's your wife doing? Is she doing okay?
Not like she needs to be, okay?
Yeah, is she getting out any? Going to the store or anything?
A little bit. Maybe.
Well, that's good.
Maybe once a month or so. And now I don't know that she's went to the store by herself in a while. Okay?
Okay, but we'll be praying for her. And I thank you for taking my call, Ariel.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Without your calls, folks, it shows hard to do without the calls. Thank you. Okay, now I'm willing to talk to you about any kind of issue that you have, if you want to talk about it or this or that. I'll be happy to discuss it and give you my opinion. Now, I know that sometimes some of you think I'm just full of hot water, but I know that I make mistakes at times, and I say some things maybe I shouldn't say, and I have opinions that I probably should keep to myself. But for 22 years in a small county, talking about the issues in this county, it's hard to do sometimes. It's very hard to do. Now, we got an incident in Scott County this past week, and I want to ask you about Haley's Law. And I want to talk about, and you wonder why I'm doing this, boy, I have some problems. But anyway, in Xander, the couple was charged in Scott County with under the Haley's Law. A 2-year-old who had been beaten or whipped or so hard that the doctors at the hospital refused to do certain work to the child and call the law because the kid was bruised so bad. So they arrested the 2 people, the man and the woman, and charged them with the Haley's Law. Now, what I have a question, and I'd like for you all to chime in if you could and would. I've got some real concerns with the Haley Law because there is a severe penalty under the Haley Law if you're convicted. Now, these people should be in jail. I have no problem with that. But they had the good sense to bring the kid to the hospital instead of letting it suffer and probably dying or whatever, or suffer through the beating and the bruises and the whatever. And so the reason I bring up Xander, if you all remember, Xander's the one got burnt bad. And because the parents, or the parent, because it was I believe a boyfriend that actually did the damage to Xander. But the mother did not get the little kid to the doctor or the hospital, and my understanding, it was at least 3 or 4 hours. If it hadn't have been for grandparents, probably Xander would have never went to the doctor. He would have probably just died. And some kind of an excuse would have been used how he was burnt so bad. And he died. They might have even killed Xander just to protect and keep from going to the law because of being charged under a very, very serious penalty. Now, is it a deterrent or is it, oh, I got called. Someone make a, you're on the air.
Hey, what did Slusher challenge them on?
Do what? Say again?
What did Mr. Slusher challenge the commissioners about?
Oh, he challenged them for their right to vote and, sustain, or they wouldn't sustain it, but they did say, I have a conflict of interest, but they will go ahead and vote. And he's saying that's
legal then.
Huh?
It's legal.
That's what I guess
there's nothing he can do about it.
Hazel Valley was telling us that it was legal. But should it be?
What was your question?
Should it be legal for people that has a conflict of interest and still be able to vote and it be counted in those
They
kinds?
were elected by the populace.
Right.
Nothing you can do about it. If the people don't want them, they wouldn't vote for them.
I'll tell you this, anybody that works for the county and anybody that goes to work for the county after they're elected.
That's a different story. You know that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, it's two separate arguments.
Right.
Okay, and it's just like he was talking about the county attorney. County attorney's elected by the populace too. It's a popular vote.
Right.
So there's nothing he can do about that.
And you're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay. And he represents the county as a independent body.
Right. You're right, absolutely right on that one.
And I'd like to speak to Mr. Fletcher. If you can, have him call me sometime.
Okay, I'll tell him who you are if he ever calls me, and tell him to try to get in touch with you.
But now you know a lot of these answers, and you're going to have to start explaining a lot of it, a little bit more detail. You did a good job a few minutes ago, but in the past you kind of let us down.
Well, sometimes I intentionally don't go into too far because I don't have no law license, or I don't have anything.
I'm not saying you need a license. You go into it deep enough to get everybody fired up and call in, so you've got a popular show.
Right.
That's what I'm saying you do. You need to explain it a little bit more to them. That way they can understand it before they call and get upset.
Okay. Appreciate your call.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. You're on the air.
Okay. To your last caller that just called in to you. Yes, he is correct with that, but does it make it morally right?
And that's exactly where I'm coming from. It shouldn't.
I mean, if he'll call back and answer that, if it is morally right for these people to make them vote and have their votes counted, even though, yes, we as a population did elect them, but we elected them to do the morally right thing.
But the thing about it is, let me say this in their defense. They honestly, whenever they are paid, and there's nothing that they can do in this county that whenever they vote to spend money, that it don't affect their pay.
Right.
Now, because the more debt you're accrued, the less likely you're going to get a 1 or 2% or a 4% raise.
Exactly.
And it definitely affects it. And I don't care what anyone says, but morally it shouldn't be done. And I'm telling you, the county commission can say or disqualify people for running in those kind of elections. They can disqualify them. I don't know the total procedure, but and I'll tell you what, it shouldn't have to be your election commission that disqualifies. It should be the people that vote.
Right.
And so if you got a majority, you got a majority that's voting for. Listen, you got 7 people on a 15 board commission there. That's almost half. All they have to do is get one person to come over on their side, and they stay together. They can totally run the county. They can do anything they want. And if the county's paying me, and I'm sitting and talking to you and this and that, and we're out here to, we go to school together, we talk. I mean, it's people says the Sunshine Law. You couldn't totally.
There's never a meeting that goes on down there, and rarely anywhere, that it ain't discussed and done planned out before it gets brung before the people.
Absolutely.
Anybody that thinks otherwise has definitely got their head buried way, way deep in the sand. And that's just the plain and simple of it.
That's right.
So, and that's just without a fact. But back to one more other thing, then I'm going to let you go and let other people call, is when they turn around to ask Mr. Marlowe, I know how Hazel Valley gets aggravated with Jeff and everything, but we don't get people to run that are qualified to run, that can run a budget, that has run a business, that's had to write checks on Fridays themselves.
Well, what's legal and what's not legal?
How to run a business, and this county is a business. And so they look for him for answers, and if he was not there to give the answers that he's gave over the years, whether it be right or whether it be wrong, we would be in bad trouble. And he is there all because the state of Tennessee said the year that he was putting off down there that we was not capable of making them decisions and answers on ourselves. That's why his job began. And that's where it's been forgotten over the years why his job was created. You know, his job was created because they couldn't come up with answers themselves.
Well,
they had to have somebody come in that could do it.
Well, but here's something else, though, that's concerns me. Do you know that this year, or this past year, there's been several what I call gigs. If you've been in the Army, you call them things that were wrong, but it was gigs and this county commission refused to correct those gigs and send them back to the state. And Mr. Marlowe was the person that's supposed to have had those corrected, and they weren't corrected on some of the spending and the way that the spending was being done. Now, those are facts. There's not just assuming. Right.
Well, I just hate to hear always the blame on Mr. Marlowe.
Oh,
Mr. Marlowe.
You're 100% right.
And without Mr. Marlowe, they would be in a hell of a lot worse shape than they are today, and we're in a terrible shape.
And I want to say this about our commission versus the commission here is the one in Scott County here. The finance director a lot of times don't even attend the meetings in Scott County.
Right.
And because basically, well, he is new. He was just hired a year and a half ago, and he don't know the rules and regulations. So, and we got a new mayor, and he don't know the rules and regulations. And if it wasn't for our county attorney to keep everything at least halfway straight, and our chairman pro tem, and I don't know who your chairman pro temp is down here. They should know, and whoever elected chairman pro temp, they should know those rules inside and out, and that budget. And Mr. Marlowe shouldn't even have to come to those meetings, to be honest with you.
But here knows it. Jeff is the only one that knows all the answers.
You're 100% right.
No one down there knows that. And the last administration was the same thing. This one here is even worse. This is the worst that I've seen since I've been back here. I mean, they're totally in the blind. And if he was to go on vacation for 2 months, I mean, could you imagine what kind of shape this joint would be in? I mean, it's in terrible mess now. But everybody, like I said, is just so bad to blame him.
Well, they lean on him too much.
They do, but he is the only man down there that will take a penny and stretch it into a nickel somehow, some way. And he has to do it year in, year out. And it's all laid on his shoulders because the minds that we send down there are not qualified to be there. So, I mean, we're at fault as a people, our own self, but we can't get, intelligent people to run. People, like I said, that have to write them checks on Fridays for employees, then people don't run for these offices.
Yeah, well, let me just mention something else for you because it's almost break time. But I want to take last year, before the election, that everybody talked about how bad the finances was in the county. And they turn around and they've got 5 districts, and they gave themselves an $85,000 monies to spend in their district. And they allowed to, I guess, transfer most of that on over to the road department. And again, that money was come up with refinancing. And so what you do is you refinance a million, $2 million that's out there at 3%. You get it for 2%, and then you pay for it for another 30 years. So you never, it's like a credit card. You never pay off the debt.
Why we done that though? Why was that done?
It's for get votes.
Exactly.
To buy votes from the people. The commissioners did that. It was
and we all know who all it was for. To get who all what were.
Yeah, because Marlowe don't have any choice. Hey, you find it some way. Let's do it. This is what we want. Now go out there, Jeff, and find me that much money so I can. And that's close to $500,000.
And that was done in a week's time.
Yeah.
It was done from 1 week to the next. From 1 week of them screaming, "Oh no, no, no!" We're in dire. To the next week, Santa Claus has dropped off the bucket here for us.
Absolutely.
And if it was not done that way, if you remember back, and that's exactly how it was. I mean, it was just, it's all happy times and good times are a-coming. And it did for the ones, the ones that it was supposed to do. So it worked out the way they want to. But that one on your last caller, I just wanted to know if he thought that was morally right for them to vote.
Okay, I hope he'll call back.
Legally way, it is legal, but is it morally for them to do that? I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, QMB, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Welcome to RaisX.
RaisX has a friendly service with a family environment with that country kick. It's a family owned with delicious food, offering breakfast, lunch, supper all day long, and great steaks, wonderful salmon. Also, for that sweet tooth, pies and much more. For the kids, games, daily specials, dine in or carry out. Call 423-569-3354. Call RaisX today.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor. Here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Pierce. I may not be Jake from State Farm, but I do wear khakis. I've been here with Linda Kilgore's office for 2 years. I enjoy helping people make a decision regarding their insurance based on their needs and wants. I'm fully licensed. I enjoy selling auto, home, and life insurance. So feel free to come in or call in any time, and I'll be glad to help you.
Now with a full line of independent rear suspension options, the all-new Foreman Rubicon and Rancher automatic DCT models are equally ready to work and have fun. Part of the growing ATV family from Honda.
Okay, we're back. Folks, I want to remind you, Ron's Golf Carts and Indoor Flea Market. And I thank the lady that went down there this past week and told Ron that I had said something about having a nice place or clean place for a indoor flea market. And she said, hey, he was telling the truth. It is nice, isn't it? Well, it is. It's someplace you can go. It's everything's priced. He also rents golf carts. He sells golf carts. And if you're on a vacation and plan to take a vacation and you're down on the riverbank where you can run around with a golf cart, makes the world a whole lot different. You're on the air.
Yeah. Do you know what Ron's number is then?
Let me see if I got it here in my phone. I wouldn't think he'd get too upset me to giving out his phone number. Let's just look here and see. Well, I should get to it in a minute. You still there?
Yes.
Ron's Golf Carts.
Yes.
Okay, it's 423.
Okay.
377 9656.
9656?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. But back to the I guess your commission about what's legal and what's not legal and what's this and what's that. Folks, I'm not saying and wouldn't even suggest that Mr. Atkins, that was the school bus owner that it wasn't a conflict of interest for him sitting on that board? Folks, there's not anybody in their right mind, in my opinion, that would totally take it as face value that someone would give up that kind of a job or monies in order to sit on the county commission. It's beyond me. And someone that has a direct contract, I would like Mr. Coker to answer that. A direct contract with the county for years and supposedly transferred all of that potential earnings into someone else's name so they could sit on the board of directors or on the county commission. Even if it was as honest and everything was 100% up and up and up and up, it still doesn't make sense. And well, anyway, you guys did make a change, and not that I have anything against Mr. Atkins. I have nothing whatsoever, because I don't know Mr. Atkins. I just know the county commission, and I know it as a name. It's Campbell County Commission. And some of the things, yes, is legal if you go by every inch, every turnover, every gravel, everything else. But folks, you put a fox in a hen house and you train it for years to not eat chickens, but you put it in that hen house and it stays in there long enough, it's going to eat your chickens. And I think that's the same way with putting so many your local or county employees into the hen house. Every one of them may be the most honest people on this earth. But let's say you put 7 in your hen house, 1 or 2 of them is probably going to eat your chickens. And that's just reality, folks. That's just plain reality. And everyone that goes and gets on a commission and runs for that, I can honestly say I was one that went there and never hired not one of my family. I probably made more of my family mad at me than I that supported me in certain things, because I would not recommend that they went to work for the county, and would not recommend it to anyone to, hey, why don't you call this person or this person of my family? Now, like I said, we all do things for a reason. I do this job here, this show, for a reason. And that reason is whenever I retired, I said, I got to have something to do, and I want to make a difference in my county. I want to make a difference in my county, in Scott County. I had no desire to come here until I retired. And If it wasn't for my wife, I'd be doing it 5 days a week. I've been offered jobs here, there, everywhere. And why don't you start here? Why don't you come down here? Why don't you go and make 10 times the kind of monies that I can generate or make here or in Scott County? And be hired by people to not even, don't have to get out and try to sell no advertising or anything. But I do that work by myself. Now that I think Honeybee's going to try to help me a little bit, but I do that because I love to be busy, I love to be involved, and I love children. And I think that we have made a difference in how people look at the laws and how things are done with children and sex offenders. I know I'm not supposed to say sex offenders too often because some people think I say it too much. I have a hang-up over it. But no, I don't have a hang-up. My hang-up is it's not stopping. It's not stopping. And we have too many people getting away with it right today. Right here and at home, everywhere. It's not just here in Scott County, it's everywhere. The only difference is other places you get caught, you go to jail, you pay dearly for it. But here you get a slap on the wrist, you get probation, and you know what the probation is for? So you can pay a fine. Just keep paying a fine. And you keep going out here and messing with children. You're on the air.
Hey, a couple of callers back made the comments that Coker has the right to sit in on county commission meetings because he's elected by the people.
Uh-huh.
Well, according to that logic, why isn't the trustee sitting in there? Why doesn't the sheriff have a chair in there? Why doesn't the county clerk have a chair?
Because
they all have opinions about government. So why? See, some people know that they're part of the executive branch and not part of the legislative branch.
let's not use the name of the, but he's the county attorney.
Well, that's so. He's
wait.
As the county attorney.
But his job is
legislative body.
His job is
the county commissioner.
His job basically is not to inform the county commission. He's informed to. His job basically is to inform the mayor. The mayor should know these things.
Yes, mayor is authorized by law to have an attorney on retainer, or since he has a county attorney, to advise the mayor.
Right.
But it doesn't say to sit in the county commission meetings and advise the mayor and the county commission at the meeting. When he gives his opinion at a meeting, he gives his opinion either for or against legislation. He can influence legislation. And if the legislative body needs a legal opinion, they should have their secretary write a letter to the state's attorney general, who is the legal advisor for the state. Now, Marlowe is not elected anything. He's an appointed bureaucrat, an appointed hired official. He ain't elected to nothing. He has no right to sit in, to have a chair, and to speak on county issues. Now, your last caller was saying that this county was in a mess before Marlowe. If you go look at how the county was doing before Marlowe, we were doing a lot better. We did not have 30% of the debt that we have now. We did not have 22 people sitting in one office, a finance office, which is one of the largest in the state, consuming $1 million or $2 million a year. Marlowe has negatively influence the county commission. You know, if you go back and look at when they decided that Marlowe was a burden of this county and tried to get rid of him, if you look at all the people who came down there and defended him, it says a lot for what's going on in this county. The Malicotes were there. The Arnolds were there. The Steiners were there. The Bankers were there. Wheeler and those guys. There was even a call, allegedly, from Washington, D.C. to retain Marlowe. And they got Adrian Beard to lead the fight to keep him in office. What does that say who's running this county? And when Malicote benefits to the tune of $2 million on these solar panels that we could have gotten for free, when the Arnolds benefit from all these change orders moving dirt around to the tune of $700,000 out there at Money Hole Park, these people.
Well, all this talking you're doing. Now, folks, I do have his telephone number, so I'll send you to him, and he can defend himself. But I appreciate your call.
Hey, I'll tell you what, we, you know, I just think this county would be better off without Marlowe and without his office.
I'd say there's a lot of people out there saying that they might be better off with you gone.
Well, it ran a lot better before. Now, listen, if people can't handle constructive criticism of the way this county's run, then they're the problem, not the person doing the criticizing. Now, you know better than that.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying there's people out there, they wish you and I both would leave.
Well, I just hope you ain't the one out there organizing the lynch mob.
Okay, talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
You're on the air.
What about all these 75 to 100 businesses in La Follette that are operating without any business license? And it's costing, what, it costs $30 a year to get one? That's somewhere around $3,000 extra a year.
Yeah, the only thing, reason why they don't get them, if they're really, if they're managed right by the state and your county, you get a letter saying that you owe, and you got to explain why you haven't paid your taxes. So if they don't have any way to recognize where you are or who you are, then and if it's not policed or forced, then you're really a nut if you go get them. Because
It'd bring money in. I mean, for the taxes and stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why should I, if I can get by with it, why should I go buy those licenses if I can? Now, I know my wife had a flower shop. She always bought her license. In fact, about it, the store was closed down probably 15 years, and every year we're still getting a thing from the state saying you owe this or you owe that. Well, she would always go out and pay the minimum and just in order to keep her license, so she could go to Gatlinburg to those shows or whatever they are and stuff like that. But no, if you don't have, if no one asks you or polices you actually having a yard sale, and that's what it amounts to is do I need a license to run a yard sale? In reality, if you're going to do it more than, I think it's something like twice a month or something.
No, I'm talking more about established businesses, not folks having yard sales.
Well, that's
the article I read said that Crystals didn't have one. I mean, wouldn't that put money back in the county?
Somebody's messing up there because I don't know that Crystal would be that. That's hard for me to imagine Crystal as big a
If
company.
I'm not mistaken, it was on the WLAF website.
That would be, and that's real neglect on the city and the county's part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I stay as far away from politics as I possibly can. but all this finger pointing and this one is causing that and that one is causing this and all that. Maybe if somebody, just anybody, would do their job on making sure everybody has their licenses and is running the correct way, maybe the county wouldn't be such a shambles over money.
Okay. Appreciate your call.
All right.
Thank you. Now, I got to tell you, folks, whenever I was on my way here tonight, I thought that the main topic would be Kenny Barkley because of this and that. And then on my way here, I heard that Anderson County had even dropped the charges and that he was in Virginia. And my way of thinking and that Mr. Barkley had vanished and no one knew where he was at. And all of a sudden he's proven to be here and be there. And I don't know. I truly don't know. You're on the air.
Hey, real quick, I want to make a point about being critical of government. You're a private citizen, and so am I. Neither one of us are government employees. Now, we pay taxes, and we pay their bills down there. We pay the sheriff, we pay the clerk, we pay Marlowe's office, we pay the trustee. We are paying these people. And after we pay their bills, we have to pay ours.
I agree with you.
And why we have a right to question them and criticize them if we feel like, because we're paying their bills. And if they get upset because we question the way they're running our government, then they are the problem.
Well, here, let me just say this to you, and I'm not saying this in a negative way to get you upset. But if you'll just go back and listen to yourself, you're not saying things in a way of, yes, you're paying them, but you're calling them crooks. You're just plain saying they are crooks.
Now listen, now wait a minute. If they vote down a $2 million solar panel project that was started before the money was appropriated, does that not fall under the category of crook?
Well, the thing about it is,
then the finance officer tells the mayor to call a recess, and the legislative body goes along with what Marlowe and William Beard orders.
Yeah, but here's...
Take a recess, they twist an arm, they change a man's vote. You tell me, and the fact that those solar panels were being installed before the money was appropriated is highly legally questionable.
I agree with you 100% on that. And here is my way of thinking of that. I don't know what the legal thing about how far or what kind of meetings had taken place between who and what and how. County commission, it's their responsibility to police that. And also, if they know that something's going on, and your county attorney, they and
their responsibility is taxpaying.
So if they're not charged with anything,
everything they do.
Well, if they're not charged with anything, unless they're charged by law, then we have to be careful about calling them crooks.
Well, if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck.
Well, you could
either Senator Parker or the county commission.
I understand I know what you're saying, but that's not. They haven't been charged with anything, and unless they're charged with something, and you can prove something, you shouldn't be calling them just out.
But if they're quacking like a duck and walking like a duck, I'm gonna call them a duck.
Okay.
If they don't like it, hey, I'm paying their bills and having to pay my own as well. So thank you. Hey,
okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
And you are right about that.
Okay, bye-bye. Uh-oh. You're on the air. Go ahead, you're on the air. Well, I cut them off, I guess. Call me back. Call me right back. I've got about 3 or 4 minutes for a break. But anyway, unless somebody is, elected, we need elected officials. We have to have elected officials. And there's always some questions in how things are done, but it's not always just out and out crook. You're on the air. It might be, let me say this, it might be because the lack of knowledge of what they're supposed to be doing, and they're just making some mistakes. You're on the air.
I don't think we should be beating up on the commissioners that we have now. They've had a short time into the what they're planning on doing, but none of them has ever made the perfect decision altogether, But I do say one thing, it was a pretty big mess, and I kind of agree with the caller there. It was a pretty big mess before they went in there, so, they had a lot to deal with, and they still have a lot to deal with.
Yeah, there's...
I still say, I've said it before, as long as Marlowe hangs around down there, that we're going to have more problems. And the talk of the county is that the mayor won't be in the second term if he keeps him, and that's the word I've heard.
No matter who's the mayor, it doesn't matter who's the mayor, unless the county commission gives him authority to fire the finance director, then the mayor can't fire. Now, I think, though, that this commission did give the previous mayor right to fire and hire the people at the landfill and a couple of other places, and that's just a lack of concern from the county commission to allow that to happen. He should, the mayor should never have the authority to fire anyone other than the people that's in his office.
I think some of that stuff went on in the past,
So.
I'm saying it, should be, or it's legal or whatever, but I do think somebody should have authority to, when people are on the government, right, that they can get. They have, of course, he's not elected official, but I was going to ask you a question. How do you go about recalling someone? What's the first thing you do?
It's virtually impossible, but I think that you have to get, let's just say that Campbell County voted let's just say 15,000 people. You would probably have to get 3,000 signatures to start a recall, and it's virtually impossible to recall a commissioner, mayor, or anything.
Yeah.
Unless you can prove that there was malice, that they, I guess, mismanagement, just plain, this person is totally not capable of doing their job.
Okay.
Just because you don't like them and the way they manage, it's virtually impossible to call them.
Yeah.
Recall. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Welcome to RaisX.
RaisX has a friendly service with a family environment with that country kick. It's a family owned with delicious food, offering breakfast, lunch, supper all day long, and great steaks, wonderful salmon. Also, for that sweet tooth, pies and much more. For the kids, games, daily specials, dine in or carry out. Call 423-569-3354. Call RaisX today.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Hi, I'm Ann Love with Linda Kilgore State Farm Agency. I have worked in the insurance and financial services industry for over 20 years, formerly with the John R.W. Brown Agency. I'm a native Campbell County and enjoy helping people with their insurance needs. Stop by and see me for all your insurance needs.
Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
And we're back. I want to remind you folks, Riggs Drugs at Jacksboro. They now take Humana, and they're open till 1 o'clock on Saturdays. That's Riggs at Jacksboro. Humana, they do accept Humana now, and they also open till 1 o'clock on Saturdays. And Ron's Golf Carts, like I said, I can't tell you enough about the this is total honest. You know, I've seen a lot of flea markers and places selling secondhand and stuff. I've never seen a place kept like that. I really, if it's brand new furniture, it don't get kept any better than it does at Ron's. Go down and check him out. And he also rents golf carts. And here's one of our friends that hadn't called us in a while, or just for a little short time. You're on the air.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Gibson.
Hey, how you doing?
Just fine. How about we philosophize and look back a little bit?
Okay.
We've all kind of agreed that past performance or past conduct is a good indication of future conduct. I think we pretty well agree on that, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Okay, if you go back to these solar panels, this thing, first of all, had to go through the school board, which meant every school board member had to know about it, including the director of schools and whatever else.
Let's put it this way, they should have known about it, but they don't have to.
Well, how would you put something through? See, the school board is the one that initiated or brought this to the county commission, if I'm not mistaken.
No question. They've got to have the money to fund it.
If you're going to have a $2 million or whatever the value of it was, project, don't you think that every school member, board member, or at least if 4 or 5 do it, they'd tell the other 4 or 5 or whatever. I mean, that's a pretty fair-sized project.
Well, here's
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing that puts some doubt in my mind. It was the project. How do you start a project of that size without even going to the county commission and asking for funds? One person, 1 or 2 people could have sat down and made that decision and tell them people, go to work, we'll get the funds some way. And then once it started, we can't stop. Oh, we got to do this thing. We got to do it. And it's been proven time and time again up to this point that solar panels are not efficient.
Well, okay, but here's the thing about this whole thing. what Hazel Valley stated there at the meeting and what they did. All this stuff was, I hate to say, I don't know what the procedure is. Let me just take one aspect of it. When you bring up a subject or a project or whatever in a meeting and it's voted down, then you turn around and vote it again, and let's say it got voted down again. And you sit there all night long and vote on it until you get it voted back. I mean, I think there's certain rules as to how many times you can vote something, the same project on the same meeting.
Well, let me tell you, I know a person, and I know him very well, that has a philosophy, and he is in a power position. It's easier to get forgiveness than it is to get permission.
Yeah, especially if you're sitting in a position of authority, you can definitely get forgiveness. But here's the point I guess I'm trying to make is, we wonder, or we question as to why people do not show interest in our community and our government and whatever else. And you take one thing like this that's handled in this manner, can wipe out, it's what do you say, you got 100 attaboys and one, oh, you know what, wipes them all out.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. This thing should have been investigated.
The same thing that happened to, the director of schools that was fired.
That's a very good. That's a very good one, right?
He did basically the same thing. He had work done without permission.
Okay. Now, one of your callers is supporting the finance director, but see, all this has to go through the finance director's office. All these things, we have checks and balances all through this whole system, and there had to been. Well, I've got word that there was a lot of people knew about a lot of this stuff, but they will not say nothing. Now I'm talking about people in positions, elected positions, that will not bring this up. They will not say a thing about it. And this, whenever we start going back and look at the citizenry, the citizens can't be all held accountable for a lot of this stuff because, well, they've got beat on so much, and if you let one citizen stand up and open his mouth, he'll get his rear end kicked so hard his nose will bleed.
The old adage is you can't beat City Hall, and unless, I mean, you really, not me or not you, some lawyer that absolutely it specializes in that stuff is the only way to beat City Hall. They'll knock you down, kick you, stomp you, and do everything because they're protecting themselves.
And, well, if you go, we're talking about City Hall, but see, there are people in positions, not elected positions or anything else, that have enough control to what they'll do. They'll have City Hall to come after you. You see what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
They don't do it themselves. They get someone else to do it.
Right.
And now, if you get another call, we'll shut up.
No, I'll just shut them off for a while because this is the first time you've called in about a month.
I've been occupied. But anyhow, like what you stated there, that every time somebody does something, they do it for a reason, and what we call motivation. To go into business or whatever else, you have to be motivated. And if you look far enough ahead, the motivation of business is to make a profit, to where that you can dream a little and go further and further.
Right.
With the amount of government we've got, just like the city here talking about this, whatever it is, that they got 100 people or 100 businesses that don't have these licenses. All right, that's just one little example of, if you want to go into business, how many butts you've got to kiss and whatever else. And I'm talking about from the United States government all the way down. And if you want to have some business, you've got to give a person a chance to get started. And most people cannot get started because there's some little dipstick rule that says that they don't use the right hand to do something with. And this is where we're at. And the County Powers Act is one of the greatest examples of taking away rights. All you got to do is, you said they'd get one vote. you could get 3 more and do anything in this county you want to. And I've made this statement before. We're fighting wars all over this country. There's not a foreigner nowhere, a Arab or I don't care what you want to call them, that has ever took a single right away from me. But my local government right here they're the ones that takes our rights from us. And if they want to complain about the tax base, what they ought to do is, I'll tell you what, these people are talking about, griping about tax base, and I'm talking about elected officials or whatever. Why don't they get their butts out here and start some of these businesses? You know, they're supposed to be the educated. I use that word loosely. Why don't they start a business? You don't see them doing that. But anyhow, we have had a few that's in business. The ones that are in business, and when I talk about business, I rule out shuffling paper. I consider business where you have a piece of equipment with tracks or tires or something that you can't carry $1 million worth in a briefcase. But anyhow, I'm getting off on all kinds of things here. But back to these solar panels, the way this was conducted gives you an insight into how government works. And this is right here on this level, and it goes all the way to Washington.
Here's a real sad thing about that solar panel deal. The wrong people paid the debt.
The citizens are one that pay for this.
Well, no, I'm talking about who had to. The guy that was, they got him to change his vote. What kind of a price overall has that man paid throughout this county over that one decision that he made? But the other people, especially your finance director, has he paid any kind of penalty or price for that particular issue?
Well, I hold the entire, and I mean every single county commissioner that was there, accountable for this. Even those who voted against it should have brought an issue, an investigation, and you take like the city council up here has subpoena powers. They could have said, whoa here. Any one of them could have said, whoa, let's have an investigation here. Let's subpoena these people, put them under oath, and find out who brought the project up, and ever take it day by day, and subpoena the minutes to the meetings to where these decisions were made. And you could have got to the bottom of this thing. And anyone, or even any citizen, could have probably done it. But I feel it would have been more in the...
It'd have to be. There would have to be money involved before, because you have to hire the biggest lawyers that they are, and all this and that. And the way the laws are set up, it's set up to protect people that's in the office. But if they didn't have protection, what kind of governments would we have? People wouldn't run.
What I'm talking about is an investigation, not a prosecution. I'm talking about just to where that they have subpoena powers to bring in people who are involved in this type of thing and get the lowdown on it. Just even if nobody got prosecuted, which they didn't, at least the general public would know exactly who did what and when they did it, and you might even ask them why they did it. And whenever you dig in it deep enough, you might find something that a person could be prosecuted, not as a member of the commission, but as an individual.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. Everybody that voted for it, they got the wool pulled over their eyes, or they they shouldn't be reelected. I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay, anybody, and I've heard them say, oh, we'll never do that again. We'll never vote on it and not read it. This thing was brought up and voted right there.
We got to have it. We got to do it right now.
That's right.
Anytime if they tell you that, you just, and anybody votes on it, they shouldn't be sitting in office. They should not be.
Mr. Gibson, I appreciate your time, and we don't, we need to look, here's one thing. There was an idea brought up to have a financial oversight committee. Wouldn't cost the county anything, with volunteers. And one of the callers stated, I don't know which one it was, that people are not informed as to what goes on through the finance office. that is fine and dandy. Why not let us look into that finance office? If nothing else, have a class. Let the finance director hold a class and explain it. And I have seen this done. I can do it. If there's a piece of equipment out here and there's something wrong with it, I can make it so technical that nobody out here can understand it. Or else I can make it simple enough so anybody can understand it. And I think a lot of people who are in positions, they make their position important by making things complicated.
Well, you know what that's called, don't you?
I'm sorry?
You know what that's called? Management by chaos. You intentionally cause chaos so only you understands the process.
That's right. So you have job security.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate
it. And you know, they make books so you can read how to manage by chaos.
There was a book out and it's titled How to Be an SO You Know What.
Yeah.
And they said it sold lots of copies. I'll let you go and let somebody else call, and my best to your wife.
Well, thank you, and I hope everything's going good with your family.
Okay, I appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. A good conversation. And we got about 10 minutes here to go. And again, I want to talk about Huntsville, the 4th of July. You know, we're just around the corner here. And also, today is, well, I won't be back with you until after Father's Day next Sunday. And I want to wish all the fathers out there happy Father's Day. And I hope that your children will just not hardly as much recognition as they give their mother, because I'm sure we didn't go through near the pain and the glory of raising you and being with you and all this stuff as your mother. But all the Father's Day out there, fathers out there, I hope you have a good day. And you know, I don't know why Father's Day needs to fall on Sunday. Father's Day should fall on Saturday, because you know, the ones that wants to go out and dancing and have a good time, or go fishing, what have you, that's more appropriate for Father's Day than on Sunday. I know we all should go to church, but that's Mother's Day and Father's Day is a time to enjoy. Now, Mexico, Mother's Day is their #1 holiday. I mean, Mexico goes all out on Mother's Day. And they go so far that Aguas Calientes, that's in the high country of Mexico, 1 month out of the year, and that's during the Mother's Day month, the big restaurants that's in Aguas, and they'll move into the center of town, kind of like down here. I wish someone here would just take the time and the little money to go to Aguas Calientes, Mexico, and I could find out, make you hotel rooms or reservations for you, all that kind of stuff, probably, but and just see how they absolutely celebrate the month of May. And I mean, it's from daylight till dark, 24 hours a day for almost the whole month. They actually, there's no place in Mexico you can legally gamble other in the month of May in Mexico. That's, I guess, funded or I guess supported by government. But they have their casinos and everything moves right into Aguas Calientes, Mexico, and they celebrate for a month. And Mother's Day is the big thing, and I'm telling you, it's a party. So, you know, maybe What's wrong with a week-long party in La Follette or something where you can generate revenue? And the reason I say La Follette, folks, you guys have got a gold mine, a 10-carat gold diamond mine with Norris Lake. It's one of the more beautiful lakes in the whole system. It's one of the deepest lakes in the whole system. It's just like Scott County. We have the national park, a national park in Scott County. I wonder how many of you folks has ever went to Scott County, went into the Big South Fork and look at the gullies, look at the river, look at all the things that's there. You would be amazed if you really love the outdoors. Because some of those gorges are more than 3 million years old. They're down in that deep, and some of the rock faces is 300 to 400 feet high. But no, do we even try to promote them? Now, you have a few things out here on the lake, but what does La Follette offer those people out here on the lake so they'll come into town and do things? Nothing. They don't bring them into town, do things to get them to come to town and spend their money. You don't do it. And you know why? It's kind of like one of the guys in Scott County called me. It's been about 3 months ago. He was all upset because somebody bought some land that he had been using as his own to hunt on or do whatever he wanted to do with it all of his life. And so he'd been asked to buy a permit to hunt on the land. And he said, I'm not buying no permit, and I'll hunt on that land till the day I die. They'll just have to come put me in jail. What kind of attitude is that? It belongs to somebody that bought that land, and they say, no, I'm not like the other person. It's my property. I don't want you hunting on my property. And that's what's wrong here. We run people out. We don't go down into town and say, hey, we got a square dance here tonight. And you know, one of the calls that I got right here on my show one night was a gentleman that called in and says, we don't need any kind of recreation for our kids or anyone else in Campbell County. There's a church near everyone. Everyone could go to church every Saturday night and every Sunday night. They don't need nothing else. Well, everybody don't go to church every day. It would be great if they wanted to or not. But what you got to do is you've got to sell what people want, not what you want them to have. And that's one of the big problems we have here. You're on the air.
Yeah, RL, people like that is what you call narrow-minded. They just don't understand that everybody don't fall right in their category in doing things. Now, some people like to fish, some people like to hunt, some people like to get out and drink.
Right.
And dance. And it is their choice. And this trying to put stuff down their throat and stuff, I mean, that's what's wrong now. These kids ain't got nothing to do.
Right. Well, you know, whenever, boys, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't wait to turn 18 years old. You know why? So I could go buy my own beer.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you out there was that way, but I don't, you know, I never did drink much. It always made me sick.
Yeah.
But 18 years old, whenever I was a kid, whenever I turned 18 years old, I could go to the bars and drink.
Yeah.
But now they did have a different thing. Well, in Scott County, the bars closed at 11 o'clock. Everything closed at 11 o'clock. Now, if you went into, and this was every place, I guess you could buy at 18 years old, but you could go into the bars and drink beer, but you couldn't drink liquor.
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
No, not a bit, Art.
Not a lick. Because
no.
You know that this half of these big energy drinks, you know, you see them with these dark colors, this and green and all this, and you get them in the store and they're $3 or $4 a piece. Read the side of it. It's 5% alcohol.
Well, yeah.
And but the thing about it is, any 10-year-old can go in there and buy that.
Yeah.
And then,
it don't make a whole lot of sense.
Don't make a bit of sense.
Me either.
And I can go in and well, any kid can go in and buy cough syrup. Get drunker than a monkey.
Yeah.
And you see these old ladies in church drinking down there.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, that's just like, you know, you get drafted at 18, but you wouldn't allowed to drink liquor.
Right.
You know?
You sure could.
I mean, anybody wanted it could get it anyway. I mean.
Yeah.
So we got it just as much as anybody else if we wanted.
Where did you live as a kid?
I lived in Claiborne County, up there on what they call Weaver's Knob.
Oh, okay. I appreciate your call.
Hey, you enjoy your show, Ariel.
Thank you. Okay, folks. Let me just say one more time. Brimstone will not have a concert Labor Day weekend. Their concert will be 18th and 19th of September, and the main attraction is Jake Owens and Old Dominion. So it's going to be a huge show on Friday and Saturday night on September the 8th. And 4th of July at Huntsville. We hope all of you will come over and enjoy it with us. And I hope someday that someone here in La Follette will build something that will draw the people off the lake on Saturday night and have a good time. And it doesn't mean that you're going to go out here and do crazy things. But folks, entertainment is there's more taxes on entertainment than there are just your regular old things. So I wish the people would just do that and help some of these poor people that's going to lose their property over taxes. And you had a bunch of them lose it this last time. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Are you missing out